That is my take for the week, entitled Who Will Tell the President, Part 3. Corruption in our country remains the big elephant in the room, and trying to reduce corruption must become a major imperative in our quest for national development. This week, the Council of Ministers met and passed a vote of confidence on Mr. President. But who will tell the President that attaining a lifelong ambition of becoming the President of Nigeria is not going to be as important when history is being written? It is what he does with that presidency that will then matter. So, who will tell the President that despite what naysayers may say about him and his past, a deliberate and consistent posture by his administration to reduce corruption can give him the trust of the Nigerian people? Who will tell the President that senators taking home over 20 million naira monthly compared to surgeons and professors who don't make 1 million naira monthly is systematic corruption? Or let's take the example of the 570 billion which the federal government sent to states, which has now become a debate. Okay? Now, while it is true that indeed the money was essentially a World Bank loan, the 35 states, because one state declined, that took the money wouldn't have gotten the money without the express approval and guarantee of the federal government. So the real point is the lack of accountability by many of the state governors. The worry is that the money is getting to the state governors, but it's not reaching the people and it's not impacting their life notably. In any case, it is a fact that more cash is now coming from FARC to the states, but the living conditions of our people are becoming poorer. Who will tell the President that corruption is the big elephant in the room? In a bid to enforce prices of food to come down, the federal government decided to be selling bags of rice at 40,000 naira to civil servants. But those bags of rice end up in the market selling for 80,000. Who will tell the President that the civil servants doing this do so because they see worse examples of greed and corruption in their superiors? There are widespread allegations in this town, Abuja, that important public positions from heads of MDAs to entry-level service jobs are for sale. And there are no major investigations of these allegations. Who will tell the President that the case of Dr. Betta Hedu, the suspended Humanitarian Affairs Minister, is still unresolved? At least the public doesn't know what has happened. Is she implicated or not? Who will tell the President that the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, which is now meant to be supervised by the Justice Ministry, is now being listed again as an agency of the humanitarian affairs by people who allegedly wish to run the agency unilaterally? In fact, it is believed that the Justice Minister, Chief Lateef Fagbemi, SAN, had refused moves to arbitrarily remove the DG, Professor Waziri, on account of her commendable performance. But who will tell the President that people in his administration who don't care for due process, or the fact that the Ministry of Justice ought to be the one to recommend the sack or replacement of the DG, went behind the Justice Ministry to sneak the name of a new NAPTIP DG in the recent appointments from the Humanitarian Ministry? Who will tell the President? Who will tell the President again that in this our beloved Federal Republic of Nigeria, a former chief of staff to a state governor in Rivers, Mr. Tony Okocha, owned up on national television that the Rivers state government rigged local government elections in the past while he was in office? Who will tell the President that Okocha himself said this before our very eyes on national TV? Yet, has any one of our security agencies invited Okocha for questioning? Who will tell the President that recently, while speaking in a chat with Financial Times of London, one of Nigeria's major private sector players, Tony Elumelu, said international oil companies were divesting their onshore assets in the oil and gas industry because of the incredible crude oil theft that is messing up our entire economy? Mr. President, you are now in charge. Forget what naysayers say about allegations in your past. You can do to the NNPC and the oil and gas sector what you did to CBN. And you should. You can clean up this mess. The oil industry is the life wire of our economy today. Too much corruption there will defeat all the other diligent efforts that you are making to put this country aright. Reducing corruption generally will give your administration a leverage that can buy you the time needed for your other plans to germinate. We need someone who has the ears of the president to please kindly and respectfully tell him that attaining his lifelong ambition of becoming the president of Nigeria is no longer the high point right now. It is what he does and the legacy he leaves in that office that is more important. And there you have my take for the week. Inside Sources will be right back.